button. Is it 0? Well, even worth saying 0. Just.
No, you don't have to say 0. It's fine. Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Stuart, are we in our own universe? Can we confirm that this is going to be a normal, non-time travel, alternate, parallel, mirror, anything related? Are we settled back?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay, not a great sign then.
But Samuel, were you aware that Data had a child? A daughter, no less.
Was the Picard team aware? That's the real question. I was always aware, yes.
Oh, okay, good.
But I'm not sure if others were aware that worked in the Star Trek Picard department. I mean, I was saying that glibly, but it's amazing the things they didn't include. Because this is quite an early episode, really, in the grand scheme of TNG and especially Star Trek, to give Data this arc. Second half of season 3. Like right there, we're right at the start.
Must have been important enough, I guess.
And yes, your audio sounds fine. Huzzah.
Of course it does.
It goes through phases, doesn't it, of hating us and loving us and hating us.
My audio goes through no phases. It's OBS that goes through phases.
You change nothing, yeah.
Yep.
That's fun.
Yep. So hi guys, welcome back. We're here to talk today about the Offspring.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Is it an epic next chapter in the TNG saga after our first 10? I mean, you gave a 10 to the peak
the booby trap.
Oh, but
Did I did peak performance? Yeah.
Yeah, that was your 10.
Yeah.
It was my first 10. So how are we doing in our follow-up?
I mean, this one's good. It's good. I don't think it's 10 worthy, but it's it's up there.
On that tease, I'll start sharing. You're teased now. You're teased.
Yes. And guys, as you can see, there's already some super chats in the chat right now. We'll get to those as soon as Samuel comes back. So thank you everyone that super chatted. If you have not yet super chatted, you can do so. It's a great way to get your voice heard, your comment read, your question answered, and get some support for the channel as well. So one of the most important things you can do though right away is hit like. Hitting like is super important and really helps out the algorithms, the YouTubes, all that jazz. So if you can do that, that's great as well. There's also other great ways to help us in the description of every video. You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/Trekyards. You can join the YouTube channel itself with the rank of Commander, Captain, or Admiral. So it's kind of a fun way to participate. Or you can even shoot us a PayPal or just a super chat is always great as well. So just make sure that you let us know if you do send a PayPal in the chat so that the moderators can inform us. Inform us so we can read your question or comment via email that way. There's lots of great ways to get in touch with us and to support us as well. So if you can, please do so. And it's good to see a lot of familiar faces here. 44 of you here. Make sure everyone hits that like button, like I said. And as soon as Samuel gets back from sharing, we will read the first super chats and get the ball rolling on this episode, which is episode 16 of season 3. So super important episode, I think. Even though it's kind of never mentioned again, not even when it should have been, which is a bit of a shame. So, yeah. So, anyway, guys, good to see you all. Yeah, and don't know if we have any moderators here. I haven't seen any moderators yet. So, anyways, we will try to keep an eye on the regular chat as well, and try to give you guys a good show as far as a review goes. This was one of the better ones from season 3 for sure, and even all of TNG. This is a fairly good one. I think it should be watched like right after Measure of a Man kind of thing, because there's reference to that as well in this episode. So definitely ties in with other stuff and has some great moments and awesome direction. This is Jonathan Frakes' first directing gig. And as such, Riker needed to take some time away from the ship, which is fine, I guess. So good directing, good acting, good writing. Definitely So an important one in the TNG lore for sure. So, hello Samuel, welcome back.
Hello, Stuart. Thank you for offering me
Did you
back.
know we have some super chats?
Well, I hoped, but I never expect, but I hope.
And we do. We've got a few, which I'll read right now because you're back.
Yeah.
Mark Lawrence, $5. Very good episode, and not one mention of Lyle and Picard. With this, very important episode. Sorry, and not one mention of Lyle and Picard. With the series focused on Data and his offspring, alternate timeline confirmed. Oh, I like that train of thought. Olivia Julius, $5. You all make fun of the Discovery Andorians, but did you see the TNG discount Hunger Games knockoff version of the Andorians? And indeed we did. We'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, and we talked about that with Michael Westmore about the Andorians, and we were not overly happy about them either. So no, pretty consistent on those. Don't worry.
Yeah. And Ozzy throws in $5. It's Jonathan Frakes' first episode of directing. All hail the great commander and Super Captain Foley. Skeleton.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's see. We got another Olivia Julius super chat with $10, which is awesome. It's the worst thing a father could ever see. You walk into your daughter's place and see her kissing Jonathan Frakes, a man who is 30 years older than your daughter.
Yep. But, I mean, hey, she got a kiss after 2 weeks. I mean, she's right there to live life.
Yep.
If only Picard hadn't been accused of murder and potential rape 2 weeks ago. That's all I thought when I watched it. I was thinking...
You said Picard, though. You mean...
Sorry, Riker. Riker. I was like, yeah, not a good time to be Riker. But it is a good time to be Jonathan Frakes. We know the story about how he wanted to direct, and there was not a program to direct yet for the cast, and they challenged Frakes, saying, well, if you can do what would be called Director's Boot Camp, a series of things to prove you can, which they deliberately made it extra hard to sort of not discourage, but make it discourage, yeah. And he achieved it fully, and then he got this as his first directorial, and he was very impressive as director. I think everyone would agree, and he's the most Star Trek actor director who led the way, obviously, for LeVar Burton and Patrick Stewart to direct. Those are the ones that she wanted to direct, but those directed. I think Jonathan does a great job directing here. For the most part, there isn't that much Jonathan flair, but as a director, it's kind of hard to, you'd only know what he brought to it if you alternate universed it, how someone else would direct it. It's hard to know, but it is well shot. It is well conceived. It is, there's a lot of good things in this, and director needs a good script, but the director has some control of the script, and you can do things, but it comes across well. And as a first performance, you would expect it to be his weakest, potentially, and it absolutely is not.
I love how that's one of the first lines, though. Commander Riker's off doing something, so here we are with our adventure today.
Yeah, he only cameos in this week.
For
one shot, basically, maybe 2 shots if you consider his reverse angle. Pretty funny.
It was a good moment. It's a funny moment. So I mean, I like the way that was played. So bravo to him.
But Stuart, let's jump back then to the start of the road. What are your overall thoughts of TNG Season 3, Episode 16, The Offspring?
Well, this is one I've always liked. And going back and rewatching it with the knowledge of Picard in your head, it's quite interesting to have that perspective when you view it this time. It's still very good, still holds up. They even mentioned their reference Measure of a Man, which I loved. And Picard, I think, I really like Picard in this. Not at first, he kind of comes off as a little bit grumpy, but then right away he's fighting for the rights of Lal and Data when we encounter the Admiral. So I mean, there's some good Picard moments here for sure, even if he might come off as a little abrasive at first, but you can kind of see it from his point of view that this is kind of a big deal. And Data, said I didn't anticipate any problems, otherwise I would have told you.
Well, this is a great example of Picard, Patrick, and the writers saying, this is so out of left field, he had to process it.
Yeah.
Because obviously the first reaction is, what the hell, this changes everything, But the fact that he goes this little journey and becomes more and more the advocate by the end he's like 110% diplomacy Picard, and he always shines at diplomacy. The way he stands up for whatever he believes in and is theoretically right. Just I agree with you there that I think it's a journey of acceptance and realization, kind of like with Hugh, which we'll get to later on. How obviously the gut reaction, then thinking he might have that reaction. He's only human, but he thinks things through very logically and comes to a good conclusion normally.
Yeah. Tom Casey puts in $2. One of my favorite episodes. Christopher Rollins says, to be honest, when is Picard not grumpy? Quite often.
Most of the time, I'd say.
Yeah. And James McGill even says Picard's not grumpy, he's snippy. I mean, occasionally, but overall, he's been even since season 1, where a lot of people thought he kind of had a bad attitude. He really doesn't after reviewing them. He's very level-headed most of the time. So, yeah. The grumpy things kind of annoy me.
I mean, it's one of those things. You can create an edit of those moments, but I mean, if you create an edit of just his strong, powerful captain moments where he's yet personable, it would be 5 times as long. But sorry, continue. Yeah. I just want to jump in briefly with that Patrick thing while you were saying it. About how you think about the episode.
Oh, there we go. In this rewatching of it, I enjoyed it. It is definitely one of the best of season 3, and it's a very strong one for all of TNG. The fact that it's never really referenced again, though, is kind of annoying. But I mean, even in Picard, it should have been at least mentioned. But so yeah, it's an episode I enjoy, and just wish there was more Riker in it. Other than that, good episode.
Yeah. I think it's an older one to watch right after Yesterday's Enterprise, because it is almost the opposite. One is very intense, actiony vibe, darker character piece. This is, and that one feels high budget. This one feels very low budget in a sense. It's all about this single relationship with a little bit of extra sort of cameo character stuff. It's very, very focused on a very tiny story. So you know what I mean? The epic of one, and the incredibly small of this one. But I was actually blown away by Brent in this. I mean, he always rises to the challenge, and that's amazing. Even in Masks, he can pull off 3, as far as I remember, 3 characters, la. I do think though that Brent, he emotes so much in this episode, well beyond. I mean, he's emoting many times. He has smiles that you can clearly tell everything he's feeling. They Jonathan and Brent clearly pushed the line of what is realistic to the point of he's obviously feeling. I mean, there's nothing else, but that's kind of the nice evolution. But I mean, again, it's like the end is bittersweet because he can't emote, and he doesn't. The last face he's has is blank. I was expecting a sad eye twitch or a smile at memories, but no, it was blank, and you're thinking, well, yeah, because he can't feel, and yet there's moments he does feel clearly without any sort of question. So a little bit inconsistent, but that's more the director. You've got to bring the stuff out of Brent's face somehow, so you pick and choose those moments. That I was impressed, even though it was off character, off brand, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like almost. This is almost from data perspective, so that you can kind of justify that everything you're seeing is like data magnified because it's his perspective piece. You can justify it,
Yeah. Brian Straight throws in $5. Referenced again in season 7's Inheritance when Data meets his mother.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, it was. I wish it kind of would have been referenced though in I think it's Hero Worship, where the kid basically emulates Data. Yeah. So you could have said something like, even though I've been a father, I haven't had much experience with the kids or something like that. Would have been nice to reference in there. But I don't know. I just think it's a very important thing in Data's life or his development, and it's kind of just not really talked about again.
I mean, you'd expect it to be the first thing you'd mention in Star Trek Picard, but we also know they didn't mention law once, so you get the sense they couldn't get the rights, or they didn't want to pay the rights to mention LOL or. As we know, TNG, the rights of the writer gets a level of rights as opposed to later shows where the studio owns all the rights. So that if this was one of those ones where you have to pay the writer of the Law episode who invented him money, they were like, we could either mention Law once or pay $30,000. We'd rather spend that on the costumes, but not mentioning Lal is absurd and pathetic, honestly. As I said before, especially when the lady who plays his 4 daughters well, 3 daughters and a painting or drawing. She mentions lol in her interview with Ready Room within about 6 minutes of the thing. So she knew, but the writers didn't apparently care enough to put it in. Bit weird.
And Jill says, or why am I me and not something else? Says in Picard, Data said, or in Picard said Data always wanted a daughter. Indirect reference. He didn't always want a daughter. He wanted a child. He let it pick its gender. So he should have said Data had a daughter once instead. Data always wanted a daughter.
Well, and if you
doesn't quite hit the mark.
And also, if you always wanted a daughter, he did. He had a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the wrong phrase anyway. He did have a daughter.
Yeah.
But
he always wanted another daughter. Just one word. Another.
He wanted a live daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, it is weird they didn't try again. I mean, this would have been ripe for a second attempt. Like a sequel. I know they don't like necessarily sequels, but it's weird he would never try again.
Yeah.
Especially
after he meets Soon, and I got all her memories here. Is there something we can work on?
Or the mother. I mean, scan her neural engrams. She can obviously cope. There are, but that's the lack of serialization in TNG. But in watching this one, I enjoyed it quite a bit, but it didn't grab me as much as I thought it was going to. That's the only thing I can say about it. I wasn't really grabbed in the same way I was expecting. And I think the performance of the lady put me off a little bit. She's doing a bit. I get it. Okay, like for a third of her performance, I was like, I mean, you're just being robot lady. I know, feel. It's like, okay, great. It's not the smartest choice in my brain. You could have made it more nuanced. It pays off obviously at the end when it evolves into that. But I wasn't overly keen on, and since it's about the actress and about performance, it's like if you're burning minutes of screen time for me, and I'm not quite enjoying her performance. You know what I mean? There's a few things that didn't quite click with me.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest.
Well, let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So Commander Riker's directing, so he's not on board the ship right now. He's got other things to do.
Well,
and
he is coming back on a shuttle, so
he
spends several days. He's currently en route. Hour 14 of 60, because shuttles are dumb when they do them. Meeting.
So they're Wesley, Geordi, and Troy are walking down the hallway, and they're talking about Data. He's been very secretive since coming back from the cybernetics conference. He's been locked up in his lab, and Geordi's like, "How do you know that?" Because Wes has been trying to find out what's been going on. So,
well, it does seem super out of character for Data to be isolated and secretive. I mean, you in that situation, be a bit worried,
Yeah.
And
I love how they show.
And it's played a little bit for like worryful. The music's just like, we'll see what's going on. We'll see what's going on. So I kind of like the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love how they show up early, and he's like, "Oh, you're early. I wasn't expecting you." Holding her foot.
And just locks them out again.
Yep. It's got to be perfect to show them. It can't be like incomplete. So.
And speaking
and I gotta say,
I
was gonna say, putting the foot on is very cool, and then the transition to the next shot where it's just like the foot's moving, like that's bravo, well done.
Mm-hmm.
That looks really good.
Yeah, those feet are incredible, and this is something that HD might ruin. Like the way it reflects. I know it's probably. I mean, I'm sure it's painted the exact same way. Data or lulls, they painted it the same way, so it's kind of the same machine, but it's exceptionally well done of how it looks. Even the little it's just very, very well done. They put effort into that one shot, and it's a fun thing. And the fact that he just puts it back up to then have a reveal. I mean, that's not logical. That's pride and a motive,
Yep.
Well, I found it a little bit annoying that we're back on the Enterprise C bridge. Not even trying to, you know what I mean? It's like last week's was epic thing, and now imagine the actors saying, "Oh, using the C bridge, using set 14 for every other thing." So I was a little bit took out of it because of that. We just saw it, but I like seeing it this big Broadway that we never get to see, and at least they did the new bits. But I'm getting a little bit annoyed of seeing those same pillars again and again.
I think the same architecture would be replicated, over generations as well. But yeah, I know what you mean. I actually really like the redress of this. I think
This
it's a
one's one of the better
cool
ones.
looking lab.
Yeah.
I do love the TOS railings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I think it looks good. So then we get introduced to Lal. Lal is my child.
Yep.
Oh, all right then. Sweet.
Okay. Right.
Straightforward.
End of story. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I think we've heard from Doug in Facebook posts that the man actor, I believe, that was in this role for this part, uncomfortable, long time makeup. Didn't like the suit, but appreciated how it looked, and so it was kind of like the cross he bore. Because it's very effective as the homogenous. Although I wish they'd, when it currently speaks, there's clear female inflection to make you think female, because it becomes female. It would have been nice to have like a Borg approach where it was both a male and female dubbed together. I mean, that's much harder to do, and it would have ruined the acting moments. But I was just thinking, they did skew female instantly to make you associate female, but it's a very effective non-person. Like, as a design, it's like, what is this? F knows.
Yeah.
It's a good job.
James McGill throws in $2.
Thank you.
Wish pre-Fembot was like C-3PO in episode 1. Pat's showing.
They're more advanced, though, than that.
Yeah.
And it's not like they have servos per se.
Yeah. Good Tea Nice House puts in $5. While I enjoyed Picard, and given the premise of the series, this TNG episode and storyline was a glaring example of a missed opportunity for Picard.
Yeah.
Yes, 1000% agree. So he introduces Lal to, this is Troy, this is Wesley, this is Geordi, and I gotta admit, when this proto whatever talks, there's no defined lips really. It's really quite strange and looks really good. So I really appreciate the way that was handled. Looks good.
I mean, and also the way they've got the hard lines and the soft lines, it doesn't feel like Data. If you put them side by side, I wouldn't say this is a Sung android, right? So I don't know why they went for this. Do you know what I mean? It's so different. Like, it's such a different design. But it's a robot making a robot, in a sense. But it does feel, with those weird lines, as if it's something artificial, but it's a very odd choice. You almost could have had a small guy, same colour face. Like, it's weird to go so different, is what I'm trying to say. And the fact that then Data makes it look like a full human makes Data look even more primitive. Data can look like a human, but also can't be looking human. But I guess you can build them looking like this, it turns into that. Which is a bit confusing, Stuart. They don't really go into why or how or who. But we get Picard down there, and he looks very disapproving. But Data's talking, saying it has a positronic brain similar to my own. I've transferred from my brain into Lal's, the pathways and stuff. And Picard's like, I would have liked to have been consulted. Why didn't you give it a more normal look, Commander? I want it to choose its own gender. And Picard's like, I want to talk to you in the ready room. To the point. It's like a disapproving parent is like, you got pregnant? What the hell were you thinking? Why didn't you? Yeah. Well, it's like his daughter's 16, went to a concert for the first time out of state, comes back, she's somehow 3 months or somehow pregnant instantly, and it's like, and she's known who the father is. It's like, wow, you took a one bit of freedom, now you went to the absolute extreme. Holy shit. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do like, as we start to grow, this is a different Patrick's acting than season 1. His stern here is no longer the mean stern, it's a commanding stern. Like, it was very strong, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? It was very just like professional captainy. You got that command right from it. And it's not what you expect to see in this scene. That level of, why don't you consult? And I do believe this is when he says initially, why would I have to consult with you? So I didn't think I would have to. No one else does. And he's like, no, that's not the point. And you can see both sides, but, Data thinks of himself as a person. He is, and he's not an average person, he's still a person. So I like the fact that he wouldn't think of it, but you know, this is still technically an experiment of technology, and it's using Enterprise resources. It would have been nice to be informed just for pure interest's sake, you know. So it's a, you know, it's an interesting dilemma. But yeah, should have told Picard. But also, it's amazing how quick Data managed to make a prototype. I mean, in essence, in like a week or something, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So the walk and talk with Troy is quite interesting because, again, this is Grumpy Picard for sure. I want to discourage from calling it a child, from it being called a child. It's not a child; it's an invention. And then Troy kind of says, "Well, you know, look at it from his point of view." To which Picard's like, "Well, if you must call it a child, fine. But a holistic learning system and the strength of 10 men can hardly be called a child." And Troy's like, "Well, you've never been a parent." And you have? Oh, yeah, that's right. The child. Remember that episode? She was a parent for like a day and a half. Because she's never been a parent. Besides that, obviously.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. But I do like how Picard is, you know, he's thrown into the, well, you're never a parent, but he is still, in a sense, you know, parent to the entire crew, and there's certainly some people he feels more paternal to. And he does certainly grow in this episode. He's forced to be the grandparent essence, and you can sort of sense that a little bit. The protectiveness comes in. No, it's interesting.
And Bill corrected me and says heuristic learning system, not holistic. Well, sorry, my autocorrect must have changed it, so my bad.
And Tenzin Gar says the difference between having a child and building an android is the child can't go killbot on the crew with a good chance of success. It's true. And Christopher Rowland says the difference between mean and commanding looks kind of the same to me. Well, different to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's different to me as well.
Otherwise you'd say every general is a mean dickhead. It's like, no, they're just commanding. It's just called the chain of command. They also mention... Don't they also mention this, that the same as every other child? Because I remember thinking, is that the scene where she's like, is young, need to learn, or was it later? It's probably later, isn't it?
I think it's later.
Okay. I do like Diana being utilised in this episode. She's actually got no substance in the scenes, really, but she's there more, so she feels more present. I wish she'd been with Lol. Again, if Guinan didn't exist, it would be Troy helping Lol in the
Well,
you know.
To be fair, Lol went to her when she was having her issue.
Yes, but she doesn't do anything to help in the moment.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. She's there, she's doing things, and this is a good scene where she fights for them. But it would have been nice if she was more present. You know, an active participant. But again, this one is so heavily two people episode. I mean, Geordie is not even in it, is he?
No, and you think he would be in it more.
Well,
sure.
yeah, yes, but I mean, everyone's in it a little bit to some extent, but really it's the two people because you've got to give them the time to flesh it out. But anyway, go straight to the ready room, and it's quite an uncomfortable scene to watch, honestly. I can imagine the actors felt the tension, and it does come across. It's good.
Yeah. And this is where it kind of softens up, and he goes from the initial knee-jerk reaction to kind of a okay, more understanding. Because he says this will have huge ramifications, and I'm truly dismayed that you told no one about this. To which Data's like, well, I did not anticipate your objections. Do you wish me to deactivate Lal? Because I will. It's a life, Data. It can't just be deactivated. Do you know what will happen when Starfleet learns about this? And then Data's like, well, I've studied all the available information on parenthood.
Right. That's why I had my thought.
And Picard's like, I'm not talking about parenthood. I'm talking about the extreme responsibility of creating a new life. Well, does not describe becoming a parent, sir? I wish to perpetuate my own kind. I'm prepared to accept the responsibility. What
do you think?
They both have very valid points, and I can see it from both of the points of view. Somebody in the chat earlier said, well, Picard doesn't freak out on everybody else when they have kids, but it's a different thing. It's not like this was something he would expect to have happened from Data. and it's not like Data has a mate where they could be like, yeah, we want to have a kid. It's just all of a sudden one comes back from a conference and a week later he has a kid that he created. It's like...
So, you know how in DS9, right, Jem'Hadar go to adulthood quite quickly?
Yeah.
It's as if somehow Jem'Hadar got lost in the Alpha Quadrant, and on shore leave, one of the crew members had sex with Jem'Hadar and gave birth to Jem'Hadar offspring, who then grew up in a week. Or somehow a Gorn crew member and a Tholian crew member had a baby against all genetic odds. He'd be like, wait, really? This miracle, unbelievable, amazing thing happened. Data is a one of one. Although, again, they forget to mention Lore. There is obviously no B4 yet, but they forget to mention the other one.
Yeah, because later they say there's only 2 student-type androids, and it's unsafe to have them on the same ship. Did you not get the report on Lore?
I mean, they think he's dead, fine, sure, but at least reference him. Come on.
Yeah. That one's more understandable, that one's not referenced.
Yeah, it is a surprise that he's back twice. But, although actually he is probably still floating in space right now. Because they mentioned it takes him... Yeah, which I loved in rewatching that for Picard. I was like, oh, really? Cool. But obviously it's different because you are unique. Creating a second of you life form changes the galactic scope, and also proving you can do it changes the galactic scope. I thought for your rights data, if you can create 500 children, well, one day they might try and create a wormhole device that will bring a tentacle monster to destroy all the universe data. So I've got to think about the repercussions of what you might... And if they misuse your children's technology, they might become slaves that can then create ships into Phoenicia data. Oh, I consider that, sir. No, because our writers are good. So, of course it's different. I mean, it should be no surprise, and no one should defend that, they shouldn't be told. It's just Data, why would he think about it? I like how Data is both... Okay, so there's the difference between... In this episode, Data has the mental maturity, but not the emotional maturity, obviously. But he's not self-aware in this episode as he should be. Because he can't be. He isn't. There's intellect and there's understanding of what's happening, the context. Like, he's just thinking, ooh, I can do this. I will. I need to.
He was so preoccupied with whether or not he could, he didn't stop to think whether he should.
Yeah. He was following...
Like dinosaur.
Yeah, he was following a logical chain without going out of that chain into what it meant in the grander scheme. And, I would hope that people choose if they want to have a baby or not. It hopefully is a choice, and it leads to, what will that mean for your life? But then, the second point I had when I thought, when Data says he downloaded all things about children, I thought that was such a stupid comment as well. Again, he thinks he's being smart, but he's not. There's a massive difference between a baby that has a brain structure that evolves naturally, organically through 20 years, and who can't speak, who can't move, to Android that has all of your knowledge and all data.
Yeah.
It's not remotely... No book will teach you anything useful. You have to... I mean, yes, you can pull together and extrapolate, but he's stupid to say, I've learned about parenting when this is a completely different situation, because Lal can speak English instantly, and she can understand maths, and...
Yeah.
Again, Data is not thinking, he's thinking. But he should be thinking, but he's thinking, ooh, it's interesting. But I like
he's thinking analytically, he's not thinking with feeling.
Yeah. But I do like how Picard softens quickly, and the fact that he, Data saying, should I turn her off, is an interesting comment. He hasn't quite adjusted to who she is yet, because it's still an amorphous blob of person. But Picard's like, no, she's a person! Stop!
And another meme from season 3.
Yeah.
They're just coming at us. The double face palm.
I didn't know they were all in a 5-episode time. What the hell? It's amazing. And never forget Enterprise, that's just as powerful a meme as this. Crazy.
Yeah.
And obviously Data looking at, sir, is your head okay, sir? Sir?
Yeah.
Sir? Sir?
Okay? Are you having a stroke? What's going on?
Yeah. But then we get the choice. Well.
Yeah. So they're wandering down the hallway, and Lal's like, female, human, male, human. I am neither. I am gender neutered. I am inadequate.
Yeah.
Well, you must choose your gender to complete your appearance. And he says to Deanna, I choose your sex and appearance. No, that would be confusing, Lal.
I like that. That was funny.
Yeah, I'm taking you to the holodeck, where you can choose from several thousand appearances. And Troy's like, several thousand? Didn't think I'd be here with this long.
I committed an afternoon tea break, not the day I've got 45 patients. Come on.
And Data's like, well, it is a big decision, which he's right.
Also, look at that side view. Look at the arse on that android. Holy shit. The proportions. That is an arse right there. God damn.
That's funny. It's a Kardashian. They said Kardashian, not Kardashian.
But this is a good little thing, but it's interesting how the personality is already different. I know it's a different actor, obviously, but this is not lol yet. This is lol proto lol. Like this is differently acted, but they do explicitly say that throughout the episode, Data's adding neural pathways, cloning them to lol. So throughout the episode, she evolves because she's being given new mental pathways too. This is basically just a computer program version of lol. You know, at this point, just very binary, very just looking, and there's not really thinking as much.
Yeah. So we get the next scene. Troy's asleep because it's taken a while. Wakes her up. Lal has narrowed the choices down to 4. Would you like to see? So yes. The first one is an Andorian female, which is terrifying. Just the uniform color palette is annoying, and the very, very large head.
Because, like, I mean, was the person actually all green, or was this a color-graded green? Because they knew Andorians were blue and white.
Yeah.
This is green.
It's a aquamarine color. It's like a very, very weird seafoam blue.
Oh no, it's a green. Don't worry. I mean, through the glass it's blue. That's because the glass is blue. But this is a motion control shot, so it's all digital effect anyway. And it's a good shot, like for a one take through a digital effect mirror. It's a good piece of whatever. So I guess they do whatever they want to it. This is the only Andorian in TNG, I think. I think there's one more maybe, but it's the first TNG since TOS, and it was not a good appearance. But at least it's there.
Yeah. Olivia Julie's puts in $2. Could they not put some type of clothes on her? Well, it's not a her at this point.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, just a robe, some kind of generic thing would have been fine, I guess.
But there's no modesty to cover.
No. And it's not like it's a starship. You're used to seeing aliens and different things, and it's fine. Brian Straight though, $5.
Thank you.
Very handsome, a friend for Worf. I like her. Yeah, thanks for the help, Troy. Yeah, because she's like an Andorian female. Well, interesting choice. And then we go to a human male.
She's like,
very handsome.
So I could hit on your daughter? What, Counselor? Yeah. Nothing.
Then human female. It's like, I like this one. And then Klingon male. Friend for Worf. Like, what a spectrum.
And also, why in full...
And Lal already said she wanted to be a female. So why is it choosing males?
Well, not just
not a big deal.
But I mean, this is a gag, isn't it? But the fact that she says, "Yeah, I want to be like Troy, human female." Well, I guess Betazoid female, and to go Klingon male is. Also, why is this guy in full warrior dress? It's like I don't think. Come on, guys, put him in some.
They should have all been naked, honestly.
Two penises just moving in the wind.
Don't even start with that.
But would have been nice here though is if they'd had like very radically different women, like a whole because I don't know if it's in Doctor Who, but when Romana regenerates, there's like incredibly varied. It's one big joke. It'd been kind of nice to have like a or like a beehive, 60s hairdo woman or something, because like I said, already done the preference.
And Jeff Jacobs puts in 261, 61 likes, sweet. Let's go. Let's get to 100. # Data's the best dad. 118 people watching. Everybody hit the like button, please. And Olivia Julius throws in $5. So no Andorians on the Enterprise on the flagship. Is that odd? It is a little odd because Troy makes the point of saying it'd be difficult if you're an Andorian because there's no other ones on board to socialize with.
I thought it was sad, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was like, really? You've got 1,000 people, no Andorians.
Yep.
That feels a bit dodgy to me.
Yep.
Personally, because Andorians are great, and they're one of the core. There's not a lot of Vulcans, at least there's some Vulcans, so yeah. But anyway, she has picked, and it's LOL.
And Data was able to supply her with more realistic skin color and appearance than his own.
And it's like, Data, you could be a Vulcan at one point. Romulan Vulcan, whatever. Why don't you look human?
Yeah.
Ever.
Just change your pigment.
It's
you can
that
do it.
easy. Literally.
And Stilo says there are also 4 Andorian genders. That's very true. Very true.
Now, really? Or are you meaning the white ones?
No, there's 4 Andorian genders.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, this is home, Lau. This is a chair. This is a painting. One day I'll teach you the intricacies of. Oh, you want to sit down? This is soft. Look, a painting. No, that's a flower. Smell it. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, this is the best early scene, I think, with her acting like odd, because it shows the difference between her and him. That, you know, he thinks just by showing his doing, but she has her own mind.
Yeah.
Although I think this is one of those journeys, this episode, and they talk about this. One of the big things, Data is sentient, clearly, right? I don't think Lol's sentient for quite a while in this episode. They'd have actually been able to think properly as a being. Because if you can just create a being like that, that's easy. But I think she's not sentient until the end. That she's just running as a computer program, because the way she acts is not just being a child, it's just running through thinking and being, but not living and really expressing. I think she's actually still just a machine, and there's a point where she evolves into, you know.
Yeah. Because Picard even says she's entering sentience, or she's, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So she's just a robot here, in essence. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, is B4 sentient?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe?
So we're down to 10 forward and teaching her how to drink, which is kind of funny. And teaching her simulated human responses, essentially.
But I do like the fact that it's such a simple gag if she doesn't remember to swallow. Guess what? He didn't tell her to swallow. Like, it's a 2-step process. If you only teach her 1 step, she's done the step right.
Yeah.
And this is partially where you see so many faces of Data. Like, way too much expression for what Data is able to do. There's disappointment, there's happiness, there's sadness, there's everything in between. And it's like, go on, Brent. Pushing it way farther. It's great to see, but doesn't really make a lot of sense. And I don't.
The ball's funny.
But that doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It's like she's
funny.
a fast android. And you can look at his face. Look at his little face. Stay his face. Again.
Yeah, I had to get that screen cap. That's funny.
A lot of those. but as a montage to go, it's brilliant. Like a great choice of things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So the computer's in instructional mode, and he teaches her or shows her how to blink, and then she's just like, again, showing her but not telling her the context and the nuances of it.
Yes.
It's kind of funny.
Were the Utopia in Picard even sentient or just human-shaped tools? Nope, they weren't sentient at all. Clearly.
But she gets eating and drinking down pat, and he was going to put the food off her mouth, and she even did the correct thing, so that's good.
Good stuff.
I'm so proud of her.
And you can see it on his face. I mean, he's.
So now Wes is down in the lab, and we find out that their neural pathways are pretty much identical. And Wes is like, "What does she do while you're on duty?" Well, she stays in her quarters and studies. She's very self-sufficient. And Wes is like, "Have you ever considered sending her to school?" To which Data says, "She already has the access to the sum of human knowledge." But Wes has a good point and says she could learn a lot by being with children of her own age. But she's only 2 weeks old. Okay, well, close to her own age. And then Wes gets a call from his mom saying he's supposed to be having a haircut right now.
Even though his hair is great and doesn't need a haircut at all.
Yep. Yeah. I need a haircut. Soon, my friend. Soon. I think they're opening up on Friday.
Well, not for us. Good for you. And the idea of going to school is interesting because if he was to do this properly, he should have made her look like a child. Like, if he wanted her to evolve in a certain way, to make her a fully grown adult, yes, she looks small and young-ish, but she doesn't even look like she doesn't even look like she's in her 20s. You know, like the age is kind of, she's young, but I don't know how old she's meant to be. It's kind of, which is good. It's kind of an unknown whatever. So going to school, I mean, if she stands in a room with 11-year-olds, she's going to be the odd one out and not appreciated. Any younger, like the idea of school, it almost seems weird that Wesley wouldn't be tasked to hang out with her. Like, you know, like show her his friends because they might understand more or something. Like, school is a bad idea if you want to socialise because they're not... She doesn't look like a child. She should have been a child if that was the point of the story. I know the point is it doesn't work, but, you know? But I guess they are the future kids. Future kids can accept anybody, but do you really want to put a 27-year-old in a schoolroom of 6-year-olds?
But they do that, and the kids don't accept her. The kids are afraid of her, which struck me as odd, too, because they're on a spaceship with aliens, and their parents are in Starfleet. You know, if my kid came home and said, I made fun of the kid today because she's old, I'd be like, you little bastard.
Well, we'll get to that when we get to that. But just the idea of school is a bit odd for her.
Yeah.
She should have been in, like, the after-school program for teens. That would make more sense. And, like, Wesley's there.
They did that, though. They put her in with teenagers, and the teenagers didn't want anything to do with her either.
But I mean, like, late teen, like, 20s, you know, like... or more similar, whatever.
Well, she comes online here, or whatever, wakes up.
Oh, yeah.
What is my purpose? What is my reason for being?
And this is after the, like, midway point of data transfer, so she's now starting to open up her mind, and Data's very proud of this achievement. This is going well. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. And he's like, well, you know, your purpose is to contribute in a positive way to the world in which we live. Why do we have 2 hands? Why not 3? Why not 4? Why is the sky black? And then he shuts her down. Tomorrow will be your first day of school, Lal. I thought that was good. It's just like an annoying little toddler. Why? Mm.
Yeah, this is probably my second favourite scene. Because it's one take. Yeah. It's one long take using the entire room. Brent's doing it beautifully. He's not exactly happy with her, but he's, you know, this is the most parenting scene I think we have. And the evolution of the character. Now she's asking real questions. That's the point. She was just absorbing what he was saying. Now she's asking about the universe. This is where she's making the turn. So I thought, yeah, this was a very, very well done shot.
Zachary Gibbons, you are the destroyer of... never mind.
Don't use no sky beams, lol. They ain't good. Have you seen Avengers or...
He puts her back up in the ceiling too.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna put you away for the night. Bye.
Yeah, I did not appreciate how he turned her off. Like, he wouldn't want to be turned off with his on and off switch.
Mm.
It didn't feel right to me that several times. It's like, you either leave her on all the time because she's a person, or you turn her off like a machine. I mean, does that mean you can just turn Data off if you don't need him and put him in the closet? I guess maybe because she's behind the data transfer, but it felt a little weird to me. Mixed messagey.
Yeah, there could be some transferring and stuff going on.
Next
scene's great.
Introduce the Admiral.
Yes, and I did write his name down here. I entered it later. Anyway, we'll get to that. Anyway, Picard. I love Picard in this scene because he's advocating for them. Lal's in good hands with Data, and the Admiral's like, well, we have better facilities here at Starbase. Picard says, the ship's mission is to seek out new life, and that's exactly what Commander Data is doing. I would consider releasing both Lal and Data to you so that he can continue his work with her, because the Admiral wanted just her, but Picard's like, well, Data can go too. I think it's important they're together.
Well, obviously they would, wouldn't they? I mean, why are you suggesting anything else? Yeah.
To you, Lal is just a new android, but to Data, she is his child. Mm-hmm. It's not easy for us to understand, but it is true. He will remain here for now. And then the Admiral says, Captain, you're making this decision on unstable ground. Hope it doesn't fall out from under you. Mm-hmm. And then cuts off the transmission. So, again, another dickhead Admiral. But I love Picard's tone in this. He's not aggressive. He's very, like, you know... And later, there's a scene where he starts out being like this and then turns pretty harsh pretty quick. But, I mean, I like this scene. I like the way Picard is is advocating for them.
Yeah, he's you don't know how long's passed at this point. I would assume like 2 or 3 days. And he's getting reports and he's hearing a lot of progress and he's like Data's reporting to him every day and he's very excited and because he's getting excited about it too and all this, he's becoming part of it, and so now being hit this brick wall. I think my biggest problem with this episode, now we're really going through it, is that every time the Admiral comes aboard or talks to him, it's the same conversation again and again and again. It's incredibly recycled, and you know exactly what's going to happen, you know exactly the vibe. And then, unlike, again, I referenced when Whaaaaa and Cisco were talking about we won't attack the station. Yes, let stuff through. They're playing chess. Here, it's just babble. Oh no, he should be here. Oh, he should be there. Oh, but he should really be here. Oh, but he should really be there. It's just that for like 55 lines of dialogue over 3 scenes. It gets very uninteresting by the end. They don't add anything to the conversation. Stupid lines by the end. This one's fine because it's the build, but he doesn't go anywhere except his last scene. But you should have cut 2 of the previous ones, or at least made them interesting. But they don't know what else to do with him. He's a one-dimensional admiral, unfortunately. They could have done more. They should have done more. Whatever.
I thought it was fine. It was a good build-up to the problems that are upcoming.
Yeah, it's good.
And
now,
the escalation of the escalation of the Starfleet mentality,
but you definitely
which is odd.
Well, yeah, but you definitely know what's going to happen from this first scene. There's no mystery of he's going to want her, he's going to take her. You know what I mean? It's very obvious, because of course Starfleet would want to utilize them. Yeah. Yeah, but
Starfleet's also Starfleet, and you think they'd respect the rights of their personnel, because Data does have rights now, which is brought up later by Picard.
Yeah, but
anyway,
you'd think that Data as a Starfleet officer would happily go along and work with them to learn stuff. I mean, he happily sent information to... Because remember, he was happy to help Maddox. It's because he wanted to deactivate Data and take them apart. If you can just study them for a month in a base... But it's also because Data wasn't allowed to go with them. It was a weird... They just opted for a nice way around it. Come along to our luxury resort, Data. You can be the primary... You can be the leader of the research project, and, no one handles it well.
So he's talking to the teacher, and finds out that Lal got a perfect score on an academic test, so they placed her with the older children. Yes. However, with the older children, she didn't understand the social interactions, so they thought putting her with the younger children might be a good idea, and it turns out not so much, because the kids are afraid of her, and she's standing over on the far side of the room.
Really uncomfortable little scene here to hear.
Yeah.
Makes you sad.
Yeah.
But it's a real parent scene.
Oh yeah. So is the next one in the turbo lift.
Oh yeah.
Where she's like, "What is laughter?" Well, laughter is whatever. She goes, "Well, then I must have I'm a master of it." And she turns and puts her nose in the air like she's perfect. And just his very blunt. They weren't laughing at you, Lal. They weren't laughing with you, Lal. They were laughing at you. What's the difference? One is meant kindly. The other is not.
Oh, it's right in the feels. Oh.
They're laughing because you are different.
Oh,
Sometimes I find that humans use humor to hide their fear. Good scene.
Yeah, right in the feels. But that's again the difference of Data can't feel. So he's just going to tell her, and the fact that he says it somewhat coldly, especially compared to other scenes where he has more of an emotional range. They pick their moments to have him be emotionless because it plays into the point, and it's like, wow, okay. But I mean, yeah. But like I say, it seems weird they think that Lal would fit in. I mean, also, how many of the children have met Data? 1. I mean, they're not gonna. So they've never met an android before. They know he's amazing, but it doesn't mean really if you've not seen him. And not just that, but she also looks like you. It isn't you, but it's stronger than you. That's worrying, in a small way, and it doesn't look like a bloody kid.
Data should have went and said, if you laugh at her again, she has the strength to rip you in half, or rip your arms off. So I would suggest not. Just play with her, be friends. She could help you out with your schoolwork. She's really smart.
That would be one way.
That's how I would do it as a parent. I'm a stellar parent.
Well, you're a parent. No, pretty good. But also, clearly based on reactions, she's not equipped socially to deal with anyone socially. Like later when she kisses Riker, she has no social skills of any kind. So obviously anything they were going to do to and with her, she wouldn't be able to understand. And you can imagine the frustration of a child trying to say, let's play catch, and she doesn't even understand what catch is. So it was too soon, you know. Guinan was a much smarter idea, because everyone's doing their own thing, whereas children, you're very pressured to be part of it and to play, and she can't play or be part. It was to force a confrontation rather than really smart. It should have been all around, I think. But or if she looked like a child, that would work better. But yeah, weird.
The smartest thing to do would probably pair with Wesley Crusher and have her be like a tutor for her.
Yep. Not even kidding. Like
the right age.
Yep.
He understands the situation. He knows data. He understands what she is.
He understands
that would have been
different.
That would have been the perfect bridge there.
And he's smart, so he can challenge her.
Yeah.
And she could have shadowed him for a day, and then you could have had a nice thing of she like fancies him and kisses him, and then
And Wes has no friends, so give him a friend.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. Or we see him with that girl that was clearly liking him the other week. You know. Give him that girl back. Maybe she gets jealous. That would have been so right. And given Wesley an episode, like legitimately, remove the child bit, put the Wesley bit in. That could have been great. Will, I think would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James McGill puts in $2.
Thank you.
Nice possible insight of Data beginnings. Oh, how Data started out not understanding
yes.
things. Yeah.
Very true. Very, very true. Yeah.
So now we're down. He goes down to sickbay and says to Crusher, "I require your advice as a successful parent." And she's like, "Oh, I like to think I'm successful."
When you compare that to Isaac and Orville saying, "Well, technically, you're an awful parent considering all of your reputation." What? Excuse me, Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice contrast.
So Data says, she's beginning to realize that she's different than the other children. She's lonely and wishes to be more like them. How did you help Wesley? Because she says Wes was bright, but he had a hard time making friends. And she said, well, I just told him that I had the same problems growing up, and I wasn't always the most popular kid, and I was there with love and attention. He's like, I'm incapable of giving her love. Sad.
But she says doesn't quite believe that, and based on everything you see in this episode, you can't believe it either.
Yeah.
Like he says that, and it's like, yeah, but you're not. You are allowed your own version of love, Data. Like you are allowed to call something you are and are being love. But I really liked hearing how both Crushers didn't have friends and had to, grow in their own way, because you don't get to be this talented doctor on the flagship. Like that, she was also in her own way a prodigy, just in a different field. Like I said, otherwise you would not be the chief medical of the flagship. So I actually kind of like that synergy. I think Crusher's a great job in this scene, and Data's a great job too. He's sad and he's humble and he's interested, and yeah, I think it's a good scene.
Yeah. Well, next, Picard's sleeping.
The chest hair.
It's an incoming call. And the Admiral's like, I hope it didn't disturb you. Oh no, not at all. You can see him like biting his lip.
Yeah, what a stupid question. It's like, well, it's 4 a.m. for you. I was told you're asleep, but I don't disturb you. No, sir. You know what he's going to do as revenge? When, let's say, the Hood, because it's an Excel class, comes in, they're going to say, oh no, sir, new procedures. We need 10-hour wait dock times. Yep, just if you want to stand by in the airlocks for 10 hours while we decompress. Yep. Oh, is that inconvenience? Oh no, it's standard procedure. You little Admiral. Yeah, bit of revenge there.
The Admiral says, you're supposed to hold your position. I will personally view the android's development and make my decision. Then, if I'm not satisfied, she'll be coming with me. And that's basically it.
Yep. And he's, the aggression is a bit there. It's unfortunate how uncompromising he's being. And again, you can tell this is all just a front for, I'm coming to take her. Because you don't send an Admiral. We've never even, this is unusual for this sort of thing.
Well, then we get a shot in the lab, and we get a voiceover from Picard, Captain's log. They're holding position, waiting for Admiral Halftel, that's his name, from Starfleet Research. We've also learned that Lao, in the language Hindi, means beloved.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then we basically get the 10 forward scene with Guinan, which is cool. Takes her down there and says, Lal needs to observe human interactions. And it would be good to be down here. And she's like, well, yeah, I'll help him out. And Lal says, Father says I can learn a great deal from working with someone as old as you. And the look on Whoopi's face is just fantastic. She is old, but no woman likes to be called old. Doesn't matter.
And I love the cutback to Data, who's oblivious.
Yep. It's just
the
like,
editing
it's a fact, you're old.
is superb there. It was such a well-played moment. Because, I mean, Guinan is like, well, that sucks a bit, but neither understand it. So I can't be annoyed at them. They don't, like, it's a compliment and true.
And Guinan says, too, listening, part of this job is listening. It's important, and I'll teach you.
Well, she says, I have a knack for that, basically. It's quite cool, actually.
Yeah, and Lal says she's been programmed with a listing of 1,400 known beverages.
She's really impressed by that as well. The guy's like, oh shit, I know 4. If I make it look as if I know hundreds.
And everybody's impressed by that because they're like, what did you say? I've been programmed with, you used a contraction. You've exceeded my abilities.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, you know, you always want better for your kids, so perfect. How hard is it to use a goddamn contraction?
Yeah, can't you write in a subroutine just to turn I have to I've? I mean, Data still runs on subroutines, you know. But it's a moment that is so... I didn't catch it because it's so subtle. And it's funny to see them making such a big deal of it because you don't even catch it until you do. And it's like, oh yeah! This smallest possible thing is huge. It's a fun little, like, you know, very, a very self-understanding situation. And it's amazing how it's this quick. You know, how she can do something different this quick.
Yeah.
It's, you know, evolution in its own way.
But it's interrupted by Picard saying, Mr. Data, I need to speak with you. And so we're up in the ready room. And again, this is where the conversation, he starts out very soft-voiced, very caring, and then gets kind of harsh at the end. But he says the Admiral has expressed a concern for Lal's environment. He believes that the Daystrom Annex on Galore 4 would be more suitable. He only wishes to relocate her, though, not you. And Data's like, well, there's things she can only learn from me. To which the interruption gets disrupted and says, Captain Riker's shuttle has just returned. I'll tell him I'll talk to him about an hour. Advise him I'll talk to him about an hour. And then Data says, so he's questioning my ability as a parent. Does the Admiral have children? I am forced to wonder how much experience he had as a parent. And it's the age-old question of you're never really ready to be a parent. You just get thrown into it and you have to do it, you know? I love this scene. I love Data's counters to it. And it's like child services or something coming to your house and saying, inspecting your environment and making sure the kid is fine and all this. It's like there's a very harsh parallels there. So,
I mean, it's very probable that Data can't raise her as effective, especially considering he also has his job there.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. It's the reaction that everyone's putting on this, whereas Data's doing it for the purest of reasons. And so he's always addressing the situations as, I'm just doing this, I want to live on, guys. And everyone else is like, but this means so much. And he's like, sure, but for me it means something so simple. And it's a good set of scenes. But again, this is the second scene, but the fourth in of this conversation. And it's good here, but with the same exact conversation with the Admiral. The exact same, it gets repetitive. It's still good here, but the same exact words are said later on, and it's not as strong. And there's a comment I wanted to read in the chat. If I can... oh yeah, Dave L. She was built on a Starfleet ship. She's Starfleet property. Just want to address that. Any thoughts?
So if two people fuck on a Starfleet ship and have a kid, is that kid Starfleet property?
Yes.
No, but okay.
Well,
I can see the point of view, but I totally disagree with it.
But they've already proven Starfleet doesn't own Data. So
yeah,
if he's created Data, if he's created Lol, out of hours on a non-Starfleet project, then, you know, he owns her as close as you could be, but also they've already proven she's a, you know, they've already proven that they don't own androids. The only thing you could say is that she was made with company resources, therefore the company has a stake in her. But since resources are infinite, and he might have brought resources from, you know, the science science institute, whatever. I mean, it's a hell of a leap given that they've already proven their self whatever life forms.
Yeah, and Dave L says, but Lal is technology, not biological. So is Data, but we've already had Measure of a Man, which Picard brings up soon when he talks to the Admiral, that I advocated for their rights. He has rights.
I love that little, I never heard that before, I love that little bit. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's an invalid argument at this point.
Already proved not.
Yeah.
Now, if he builds a tricorder Mark 12, perhaps, we'd probably slow in the copyright on it. You know.
Yeah. But we're back in 10 forward, and she's like, "Why are those people holding hands? They're flirting."
Oh, hold on, what is that? Before you go into that, I love that there's this one lady who's waiting for a date, and she stands out way more than the couple. She's like bright red.
She's like the Matrix. Did you notice the agent or the girl in the red dress?
And I was thinking, I was like, when's her date gonna get there? Because it's off duty. But luckily, Stuart, she has a date later on.
And she's cute. She's cute.
She is much more memorable than the other couple. But I was just like,
the guy at the end of the bar seems to be scoping her out, though.
Yes. Oh my god, I wonder if that's the guy later on, because there is someone talking to her later. I wonder if there was like a meta story of like another couple. But I just found it funny. Like, there's such an obvious more attention to the bright red with the blue cup than to yellow. Like, it just sorry, I just had to bring it up. I apologize.
That's okay. Guinan says they're flirting. Humans like to touch each other. They usually start with the hands and go from there. And then, of course, he kisses her, and he's biting that female. No, they're pressing their lips together. It's called kissing. I'll let your dad teach you when you're ready to talk to you about that.
No.
Something your father will have to teach you.
Not exactly. You missed one step. Then they gently walk out. He's pulling her hand, and she's like, "Where are they going?" Then she's like,
"Oh yes, yeah."
I'll let your dad answer that question, because that's the jump we haven't got to, and I love how awkward it is. Like, come with me, date. Let's go somewhere else, somewhere more private. Wow, show you're being blatant there, aren't you? Wow.
And then, quiet on set, director shows up. Riker's here. I love how he just got off a shuttle after a long trip, goes to 10 forward to get a drink, sees a new lady, and says, "Hey, how's it going?" And she just like, and she's doing the.
How you going? Haven't seen you here before. You new?
Yep. And she's doing and then she just grabs him and kisses him, and it's bad timing because Data comes in and.
It's the best timing, Stuart.
What? Yeah. What are your intentions with my daughter? Your daughter? And not only that, but she picks him up, and carries him over the bar, and then drops him back down.
And he's a tall guy. He's like 6'2", and she's like 5'1".
Yeah. Riker's like, "I've been gone for a week, and you have a daughter? What?" He just storms out. It's awesome. And the crewmen at the end are like, they see this happen to the first officer. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, this is one of those few perfect scenes, isn't it? Really.
Yeah,
just
this is a good one.
The pacing and the editing, and brave of the director to commit to this scene, but it's fun, and I like how Lol's acting. It's such an unusual. Like, she's like, "I am flirting motions." That was enough flirting. Kiss. It's like, what? Those cues weren't enough. But he wasn't exactly flirting, but he was being overly friendly for 1 second. No, it was pretty amazing.
Area 51 throws in $2,
Thank you.
And that's why she's not made a child. Oh, Jesus. Oh,
but
yeah.
Then you'd have had a Wesley scene or something else. But yes. And guys, we've got 97 likes, 133 per watching, which is absolutely incredible. If we don't see 110 likes, I would be surprised. I want to see people click the like button right now. We're over halfway. 1 dislike, who cares? We're still watching, I'm sure, whoever that was. But click like, 97. I want to see 110. Go, go, go.
Like.
But this is a fun scene. It's a fun payoff. And again, it shows how she's evolving, because this isn't a logical step. It's a, you know what I mean? It's a experimental step. It's a certain there's a behavioral learn here, which is different to what you'd do if you weren't more sentient. And the God, can you imagine if Data was Riker's father-in-law? The fun that would be.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, back in the quarters, she's expressing concern because she looks like them, but she can't do the things they do. I will never know love. I will never feel their emotions. And Data's like, that's one of the things you just gotta learn to live with. We must strive to be more than we are. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why I think the acting of the actress gets a ton better. I know it's a journey, but from here on, I like her acting more because she's, But it's really good here. It's really relatable. It's really interesting. It's nuanced, and then they hold hands and to see because now she's more emotionally mature than Data. That's the irony. She's now surpassed him, and so she's seeking emotional comfort that he would never seek. And it's amazing how the transition's already happened, and he's liking this gesture that he understands, but is like, oh, okay, if you need this, sure. Yeah. So it's very sweet for all the different levels. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I was wrong. This next scene is the scene where Picard starts off with a nice soft voice and gets very harsh near the end. Because the Admiral Halftel's here, and it starts out, I thought you were here to form an opinion, not justify one.
Yeah, he's being overly friendly to try and not have the escalation that he knows is going to happen, yeah.
And Halftel's like, this doesn't have to be I don't want this to be difficult. And Picard's like, I see no need for this to be difficult at all. The damage could be irreparable. We are breaking up a family. They are living, sentient beings. I help define their rights. Love it. And Halftel's like, this must be done in a confined, closed location. I just love this. This scene's great. Because Picard starts out all friendly, smiley, got the tea, and his voice just gets a hard edge. You can see when it happens too in the transition of the pictures here, and it's just great. And referencing "Measure of a Man" with "I help define their rights." It's great.
No, and I love the casting that they're about the same height, and sort of similar builds, and you never get this sort of really like tight one-on-one.
But look at the closed off body language of the Admiral with his arms folded.
Well, not just that, but as he stands up, it's such a choice. The way he crosses his arms, he's like interwoven. He's like, "Look, you're doing what It's very like classic army man. You do what I say, bitch." To like a subordinate, it's very well played body language. And again, this guy, you're not meant to root for him. You're not meant to like him. He's very single track. I wish he was more interesting. Maddox got more interesting. This guy only does in the very last minutes. And just to reference back, you said something earlier about, I love the moment when Data questions, does he have children? I wish Data had called him out for being a bad dad. His latest scene. It's like, would you have let, would you let your kid? Yeah. I read that you have a daughter called Cassandra. Would you have let her be taken away at the age of 2 weeks? Nothing, I would have loved that vengeful comeback. We don't get that. But I like that he's almost thinking that.
No, I agree. That would have made it a lot better for sure.
Yeah, but that would have been Data being mean, and Data was ostensibly mean, but that would have been really good.
Yeah. Jeff Jacobs, $2. 100, yes, 150. Here we come. Hashtag make this. This one makes me cry. Hashtag make Jeff pay. I never really got emotional in this one until this viewing. At the end, I was kind of like, that's really sad. Usually, I'm kind of detached when I watch TV for some reason.
Well, it's not crying, but it gets you in the feels. Like, it's a deep down, oh, damn it.
Is the feels a scientific term? Where's the feels located on your body, Samuel?
What sort of feels do you mean, Stuart?
Where did the feels touch you? Can you show me on this doll?
See, there we go. Or on the lol, the unformed.
I don't have a doll. I don't have an action figure near me. Oh, yes, I do. Show me on the Picard action figure where the feels touched you.
Stop pointing that at the camera. You know what I mean? Pointing. But yeah, I think this is the last scene. They should have gone over the same issues. It's good here. Stops being good, I think, from this point onwards. Because now he's just the same conversation as the Admiral. I would have been annoyed if I was the Admiral, because I'm just given nothing new until the end. And I keep saying that, but here is the end of the good bits of him being, unique. So you know what's going to happen. So it's not, but then we get we'll get the scene where they explain. Love the direction here. Very good choice of angles. Very good co-dialogue and the way it all builds. And again, you're not meant to like them, but it's interesting. And Yeah, Data's fighting a good fight, but it's not obviously not going to work. You know.
Yeah, well, he explains there's variations on the quantum level. She can use contractions. I cannot. You've approved upon yourself, Data. And then he goes on to say, if you take her to the starbase, you're going to need a model to base your conclusions off of. That would logically be me. I'm the only one.
Yes. Yep.
And
which does seem weird that if you've got this much resistance, being the Admiral, just bring Data too.
Yeah.
Like they would have said yes at that point. It seems odd that, you know what I mean? That it's all or nothing. But oh well.
And the Admiral's like, well, where is Lau now? Turns out she's in 10 forward serving drinks. So they go in, and the Admiral's like, this is your idea of an appropriate guidance? She's capable of over 6 trillion calculations a second, and you have her acting as a cocktail waitress.
What a unique reference for this era.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say bartender, but cocktail reference. And look, Stuart, the date's arrived.
Woo!
But
It's not the same guy.
Is it not? Let's have a look. So
No,
this
no,
is
it's
the
not.
3 guys at the...
It's not.
Oh, no, it is. It is. It's the middle one. It absolutely is.
But it's not the one on the end that was looking at her.
No, but yeah, no, you're right. But it is one of the 3.
Yeah.
So I guess they weren't waiting for her, so he did go and talk to her. And being very friendly now. But isn't that cute, though? Like, it's a little setup payoff, and it shows the evolution of her brain. As weird as that sounds, the fact that she's alone and found somebody shows that she's evolving too, and she's sort of converses with them. They don't quite see him talk. I don't know. Was it meant to imply? Because they kind of look at her as if they're talking to her, but we never see her respond. So do you think they are having a mini conversation or not?
I think so. Yeah.
I hope so. It's
or she's just like leaning in and observing their conversation.
They're like body languaging with her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they would.
Anyway, Halftel says, have her report to me immediately for an interview. The Admiral's suggestion is that you be moved to Galor 4.
Yeah. We have yeah. And I love the fact that Whoopi Guinan she's seen a billion admirals at this point. She's been seen a billion people in authority, and she's just like, yeah, Admiral, you don't know everything you need to know. And I love his reaction to her. He's like standoffish, but like, damn it, I respect you somehow. I don't know why I respect you, but I respect you. Damn it.
Yeah.
I like that. It's subtle, but it's there.
And great shot in the briefing room. The camera being up like that.
We haven't seen that before. I don't think we've seen the other way, but I don't think we've seen that perspective.
Yeah. And so Picard says the Admiral's suggestion is to have you move to Galor 4. And the Admiral says you can learn a lot more there than on a starship. And she's like, well, I'm still learning on the starship, so the natural conclusion must be that once I've learned all that there is to learn here, then I would move to Galor 4.
Beautiful, makes sense.
And and he's like, that's not what. No.
One of the counters. Oh, that's not the logical.
Yeah.
It's like, well, she's a logical person. It is the logical, because she's the logical person here. You're the emotive person here.
So we're going to help you and develop. And she says, my father is already helping me. And Picard's like, whoa, just let's ask what her wishes are. And I love that, because in a lot of those custody battles and stuff, they never ask the kid's opinion on what the kid wants, which is stupid in my opinion. But yeah, I love how Picard kind of just shoots the Admiral down here and later. And the Admiral, you can tell, is getting a little bit irritated with it, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It amazed me that they didn't think to ask what she wanted before this, given that they've said she's a life form the entire time. Because the fact that she's not a child, she never was a child, and at this point she's now talking outside of the rhythm. The way she responds to the Admiral is clearly thought-provoking. There's reactions, there's saying no, there's all these, it's so well played at this point. But again, it's telegraphed. She's obviously going to say no. He's obviously going to say yes. She obviously orders him. Like, it's very,
Yeah.
There's a lack of a spark in these scenes. Again, the Admiral isn't bringing his A game at this point. Something missing. Picard's good. She's good, but they're not quite working as a 3. The story isn't... It's like the Orville. The Orville would have been better story for this episode, almost, to go that 1 or 2 steps forward. I'm not sure how. Or like if Isaac ends up making a husband for Claire, who looks like human Isaac, and Claire's like, but I want you, not
yeah, that would be perfect.
You.
Yeah.
But it is me. But it isn't you. But it is me. But he's also, that would have been, hey, who knows? Season 4. Season 4.
Yeah. Anyway, she leaves and she looks a little discombobulated.
So I got a bug. I'm trying to see if it leaves.
Oh, that's okay.
Very fly bug.
and she goes down to Troy's quarters.
Yeah.
And Troy's like, "Hey, how's it going?" She's like, "Troy, an admiral from Starfleet has come to take me away. I'm scared. I feel it. I feel it." And she's like, "You are scared, aren't you?"
Mhm.
And then she's like, "This is what it means to feel." And she leaves again. I'm glad Troy follows her too.
I was waiting for it to close and be like, "Come on, follow her! Come on!"
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a scene I completely forgot about. This point, the fact that she does feel, I had no memory of this. And I think the acting is really interesting here. I'm not sure what it's trying to tell us. Like, she can feel now, but what does that mean? She hasn't got an emotion chip. She is the same pathway as Data. Why could she feel? But she can. So what does it mean? You know, I'm intrigued what they're trying to tell us. Well, I like it. Another fact goes to Troy. I wish the scene was longer though. I wish this was explored more. This moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like the fact they didn't cop out and say. Troy says, "I can feel that you can feel something." Because it's like, no, you can't. Stop it.
Yeah.
But she says,
that would have been bad.
I can see it on your face. You're feeling.
Yeah.
Or the body language. But yeah, this is a good evolution of the actress.
Then we get a great shot of a Excelsior class and the Galaxy class side by side. Looks great.
Yes. And guys, please do super chat. We haven't had one in a little while. Any thoughts, comments? We'd love to hear your, and also read out any comments and thoughts.
Yeah.
Would be good.
So next scene is back in the briefing room. Data's there now instead.
Yep.
And the Admiral's like, "I must ask you to release Lyle to us. There are only two Soong-type androids in existence, and them both being on the same starship isn't safe. One lucky shot and we lose you both, because we know the Galaxy class is a glass cannon." And
But I like that we've now fought these arguments the entire episode. So now his only argument is, because if you both die, that would be really bad. Like the fact he's gone down to the simplest argument possible. I like at least it's changed, but...
So the logic was, when there was one Soong-type android, it was fine to have him on a ship or something like that could happen. They just lose one of them, the only one. So why not keep him at a starbase? Like...
Yep, well, because he now has free will and choice.
I know, right?
No, it's the only thing he has. I appreciate his lack of... But I wish he would get down, like I said, to the just ordering. To go through all this bullshit in between is just wasting everyone's time at this point. You know?
Mm. And Olivia Julius throws in $2, hashtag Picard fertilizers. Ozzy Maderos, $2, skeleton hands. See, we can count on the regulars for the super chats when there aren't any super chats for a while.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, then Picard, I forget what Picard says. I didn't write down for some reason, but the Admiral says, "You're not a parent, Captain. There comes a time when all parents must give up their children for their own good. You ask that I give her up. I cannot," says Data. "It's my duty to raise her, not Starfleet's. I must order you to transport aboard my ship."
It's an interesting evolution at the end. And he is right. Like, you all let go of your children, that's the point. But at 2.5 weeks old, maybe not yet, you know?
Yeah.
Calm down, Admiral.
Well, I love this because he says, "I order you to transport her Val aboard my ship." And Data's like, "All right, cool." And gets to stand up. And Picard's like, "Belay that order, Mr. Data. I'll take this to Starfleet myself." And the Admiral's like, "You're jeopardizing your command and your career." And the look on Picard's face is like, "Yeah, well, there are times when men of good conscience cannot follow orders. You acknowledge their sentience, but ignore their personal liberties and freedoms. Order a man to hand his child over to the state, not while I'm his captain."
Strong moral for all time. But you missed one other line. When Picard says, "I'll go to Starfleet," and the Admiral says, "I am Starfleet." It's like, ooh, okay. Yeah. But it's like Dowdy. It's like, "I am acting orders of the Federation Council to break the Prime Directive, bitch." Yeah. I like the scene. I like the moment when he talks about having his own children. I think the Admiral's acting there is excellent. The micro expressions, the sub bits. He's really thinking, like, he's being so genuine there. He's like, "Dude, you." But
one of them, Data, Picard should have fired back, saying, "And what about your children, Admiral?"
Yep.
Would you? That would have been the perfect place to slip that in.
Because he was really being emotive.
Yeah. Would you have let them be taken away at the age of whatever?
Yeah.
Or would you have fought? Have you done anything to keep them with you?
or for example, it would have been fun if Picard pulled a pad out of his, pocket, whatever, and be like, it says here that Jane, your daughter, died in an accident. Don't maybe we could have given the 3D of he's responding to Data's child because he knows from first-hand experience. That would have been kind of fun. That he messed up his own child's education because of this, or he made the wrong choice. There could have been something really kind of cool there, but we didn't have time.
And Badmiral Halftel puts in $2.
Cool.
Picard ready to end his career for Data here. Yeah.
But he wouldn't end the career. I don't buy that. I think the argument is too strong, and
he would have done the same thing he did with Measure of Man. He would have taken it to a higher court. He would have had it, had his day, and he would have won.
Yeah, I don't buy career.
Yeah. And Brian Strait, $2. Actress playing Lyle does a good job here.
Yes. Yep, she gets much better throughout the episode. I think they know what they want, and I'm sure as Jonathan gets... I mean, come on, the first day of directing, you're going to be weaker than the 7th day. So I'm sure, just the quality of the dialogue stuff, I think, improves as they go. But then, you get the call from Troy saying, Data, we need to see you right away. And he leaves not knowing what it is, and then Picard asks what's going on. Then they say it's a big problem. So they're pre-warned, but Data walks in and then finds out, which would have been better to have been pre-warned a little bit.
And this is where the Admiral gets a little bit of a redemption, but...
100%, yeah.
So we find out she experienced fear and confusion, emotional awareness, and then they find out it's a cascade failure. I'll need to take care of this. And the Admiral's like, can I assist? Or he says, I agree. May I assist? Because I guess they did say he's a specialist.
I forgot that, so I thought it was quite odd that the highest guy's going to want to be the grunt again. But it makes sense. I mean, not everyone's an admiral from a captain. Like, you become an admiral in the science, in security.
Yeah. You've
got to be. So I love the idea that he's actually a full-on science admiral. And he's like, I mean, dude, I've got 16 PhDs. I'm the foremost expert, I'm here to help. I love that Data isn't proud enough to say, I won't take your help. The way he acts at the moment is like...
Yep, anything to save my daughter.
Yep, this is more important. So I really like that, actually.
And I love the prosthetic with the hair. The top of the head. I always love the way they do those. Sometimes it's quite obvious, other ones not. This is great.
This makes you appreciate why they give her such big hair. Because they knew this was going to happen. Like, her hair is not the best hair, but this is like, oh yeah. It's Stuart, they've got TOS jelly beans.
Good guy.
Yep.
So we get the people waiting in the hallway with the worried look on their face. We get Geordi in the hallway at the beginning, and then here. Geordi doesn't have a big part in this one, which is odd considering the circumstances of the episode. But
and this bugs me because they filmed this at the same time they filmed the first scene.
Oh yeah, exactly, just around the corner.
It's a small thing, but it annoyed me a little bit. But then the Admiral comes out, and hey, what a brilliant performance in this scene.
Yep.
Like,
says,
damn.
She won't survive much longer. It's a complete cascade failure. Then goes on to be awed by Data. He's like, his hands were moving faster than I could see.
Yeah.
He refused to give up.
Yeah, he's brilliant here. Like, that is his best performance by a mile. And it makes you sad how they portray the rest of it. It's a 180 that isn't quite natural. He could have been a good admiral. He could have got you there. It's kind of like Jellicoe. You'd have to hate him and then you understand him. But I appreciate that, this is good. This is really good. But I don't know if I like how lol it does. I don't know if it feels like to you, but it feels to me like oh, the episode's almost over. Let's wrap it up by killing her. Because it does come out of nowhere and it's not explained. It's like, well, okay, I guess she had to die for continuity, but why? I don't know if you felt that or it just felt like a natural thing.
Not like a natural thing.
Oh, okay.
Ozzy Medeiros puts in $2. I thought the Admiral said he was a parent. He did.
Yeah, so he's obviously relating to that as well. And that's why he could have had, he lost a child or something, this would be even more powerful. But if it was always, if you say it made sense that Lyle was going to die, it would have been nice to have an explanation as to she's got more, she's more advanced, but it's burning her out quicker. Like, there was no lead up to her dying. I would have liked an analogy, as you often get in Trek, that
I think the conclusion that we're forced to make is that since she used contractions, she basically had feeling. She thought she was scared. She didn't know how to handle that. She had surpassed Data and was more, at least evolving. That's kind of what you get. That's what caused the cascade failure. The program or the matrix wasn't designed for that. So.
See, that I wish they would have said a little bit. I know it's sort of implied, but it would have been nice to have seen hints, or like I was trying to say a second ago, if the idea that you burn twice as bright for half as long, that the amount of extra processes she's doing is burning through her CPU or whatever. It's like something more technical, because it almost feels to me like she died of a broken heart, a la Padme. It's like, why should she die? Because she can't be alive in the next movie, even though she was alive to see the birth of her, even though Leia knew her, and therefore you effed up your own storyline, but whatever. But yes.
So next scene, still the same scene sort of, but you must say goodbye now, Lal. I love you, Father. I do not feel love, because I will feel it for both of us. Thank you for my life.
Yeah.
Laughter, painting, family, female, human.
She goes back in her own memories to the beginning.
Yeah. And yeah, it is quite sad.
Everyone expects her Data to say "I love you" too, even if he doesn't necessarily know what it means.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
And he doesn't. And God, you can imagine that Brent had a hard day doing this scene because he has to not emote. And luckily, she's not emoting like a crying mess, because that wouldn't have worked either. But there's intensity here that you only get with real characters.
Mm-hmm.
So well done them.
Yeah, and then he goes to the bridge, and everybody says, well, Picard says the crew is saddened by your loss. And he's like, no, she is up here. I incorporated her programs into my own. I've transferred her memories to me. And Picard's like, oh, that's very sad. Take your post. You don't get a day off. That's exactly what happens.
Your daughter died.
He should have offered him a day. They should have said, you're free, you don't have to do your duty shift or whatever. And he would be like, no, it's fine. It's my job. To show his lack of emotion, instead of Picard saying, go to your post, Data. That's kind of a dick move.
It's like, Data, I know her daughter died 35 minutes ago, but we've got a starbase to go to. Come on.
You're just going to sit there in the chair for the next 6 hours.
Yep.
But go sit down.
Into space, yeah. But I think this scene is meant to show us that he's now closing himself off. He opened himself up. And so he's, it's the opposite to what he was doing throughout the episode. But that's why I kind of wish there was that moment in his last look, which gave us something, but he's exactly back to classic Data. Mm-hmm. There was an odd choice. There isn't much else there. There's a pause, but yeah, it was a weird little moment. And I honestly thought, Data, your daughter died because her program was faulty. You put her ones and zeros in your brain, could be bad. It could computer virus you. That's risky, Data.
Yeah.
Like, that's not necessarily a good thing.
Admiral Halftel puts in 99 cents and a cry face sticker.
Yeah.
Don't cry. And Steve-O said, I felt the same way when my PS4 died. But that's a devastating thing to happen, have a PS4 die on
But the memories are still in here.
No, the memories are in the hard drive that you can't get to.
But I put them
corrupted.
I put them in the new PS4. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is somewhat anticlimactic as well, like TNG is often being. But it does straddle the line better. But it's meant to feel that way, so it's kind of okay, fine. And then it sort of ends. We are done.
Good episode. Hit you in the feels, as you said. So yeah, like I said, I enjoy this one, and it's very good. It's not a 10, that's for sure, but it's definitely high up there. Because of I appreciate the writing and the directing in this. Frakes did a good job for his first directorial, and you got that one really funny moment with Riker, which is fantastic. Almost everybody gets something to do except for Geordi, which is kind of odd in this instance.
And
to be
Wesley
honest.
as well, really, in reality.
Yeah, yeah, like Wesley would have been the perfect tutor for her, based on the school issue. Even though he has his own stuff, but yeah, I mean, there's ways this could have been written and been better, to include Geordi being trying to take care of her, at least save her at the end. He should have been in there, not necessarily outside the room, and yeah, have Wes kind of be the one taking care of her. But other than that, the Picard stuff is fantastic. Patrick Stewart just shines in this one, in my opinion. Comes off a little bit crusty at the beginning, but definitely. And then referring back to Measure of a Man as well, and this is great. So I really like this one.
Hey, do it. Like, review it as you want.
I don't know. For season 3 of TNG, I'm gonna have to give this I would say a 9 out of 10. I think it's great. It definitely leaves an emotional impact, which a lot of them don't, and that's always it's a good sign of good writing and directing. So, 9 out of 10 for season 3. For all TNG, I'm gonna give it I'm gonna have to give it an 8 for all TNG.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I like it, but it doesn't quite connect in some way. It's good to see Brent act. It's a good story. Picard's good in it, but I think the Admiral is not correctly written at some points. The pacing suffers a bit. They should have utilised Geordi better, like you said, Wesley, a lot. It could have been a much better story, very easily. But that said, very well directed, some really good little moments. But I mean, considering it was his first, you can forgive all that stuff. But I don't think they knew. They didn't know exactly what they're trying to do necessarily, and they could have done more with it. But that's okay. And like I say, the actress's acting, I think, was uneven, to say the least. I know you can explain that by what she was as a character, but I think uneven. I think could have been better. I didn't like the "I am robot." The hand. I didn't like that really. It didn't work for me personally.
Yeah.
But hey, we can't like all the same ones, Stuart, and that's good. So for me, I think season 3, 7.5. Pretty good. And then TNG 7, 6.5, 7. Yeah, better than a lot, but like not. No, I have to give it on a 7 based on my perspective. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Cool. Ozzy though throws in $5 and says this episode's good. It's 9 out of 10. Trekyards get the 10 out of 10, and Skeleton Hands. David L puts in €5. Lal should have been holding Data's hand when Data died.
Jeez. Would have been a bit. Yeah. What does that just even look like?
And Olivia Julius throws in $5. 2.5 out of 5. Lost points for lack of fertilizer.
But that would be all of the episodes.
Yes.
So Hal is played by Hallie Todd. What does Hallie Todd look like?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, really? Hallie Todd played Shelby as well?
What? No. That doesn't sound right.
It doesn't, but there's a picture of her in if you Google it. Hold on, let me go on IMDb. She's in Lizzie McGuire as Joe McGuire. I guess she's Lizzie McGuire's mum.
That's important.
No, she's just Lal. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why that one came up then. But she was in Kim Possible. And Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Lizzie McGuire movie. So funny. But yeah, Super Chat your scores. Stuart will read them. Non-Super Chat and I will read them. Any thoughts?
I've already read the Super Chat ones we got.
Well, there we go. Okay, so 10 from some Brendan 9.5 of all TNG. Wow, okay. Tuning 8.5. Brian's rate 9 out of 10. Jill, but with the weird name 9.5. So just as good as last week. Okay. 8.5, 8 or 9, 9, 8, 8. 6.5, 8, 8, 9. 7, 7.5, 10 compared to today's writing. 7.5, or is that one? 8. Yeah. There you go.
Cool.
So, in between us.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, what's next week then? I always
Next week is Thursday. Next week is Thursday.
Why is it bloody next week? What do you mean next week is Thursday? It's Tuesday today.
I know, but we're not doing one tomorrow. We're doing Thursday, which is next week. Next week's episode of TNG is going to be reviewed on Thursday.
Right. Okay.
Which you keep saying is next week, so that's why I made the joke that next week is Thursday.
Now,
and it's Sins of the Father.
Well, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a... It really is the first big Klingon one. Like, the Klingons are now back. I mean, considering they made the haul and they have more Klingons than ever before, that should be a really good one. I'm excited. And come on, Kern, what a legend. Tony Todd, I mean, always good. You know, always good.
Victor A. Palco. Hey, hi, hey, Trekyards. Me, I am C. Kenneth Palco. Welcome. Is that Ken? You Ken Palco? Say what?
Hey.
I'm confused by that whole thing.
I guess so.
Yeah. I don't know why it just doesn't say Ken Palco.
Because he likes to be confusing. Good to see you. Hopefully everything's going well for you. Keep making cool things.
I keep checking out he does lives on Instagram all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's talking about weathering props and stuff. It's pretty cool. So.
Can you get Instagram if you're not an Instagram user? Can you watch those if you're not?
No, his are private, so if you have to be already following him, you have to be like approved kind of thing. He won't approve you. He never liked you.
Oh no, I know. He wanted to kill me several times. I mean, you know, I could tell. All right, well, final super chat slot then, guys. Oh, and of course, remember this weekend, Drunk Live. Be much earlier in the day. That'll be exciting. Booze will be here, raring to go. As you guys know, we have no control over that live. We could be sober at the end, or we could be dead at the end of alcohol poisoning. The spectrum is clear. Punishment by drink or being nice by drinking. Either one, and you know, yeah.
Olivia Julius gets this last super chat slot, I guess, with $2 and says, "Don't worry, Samuel, my favorite." So,
yes, but I make a ship go, so bit of bias there, I'm sure. Yeah, but you have to watch the episode, don't you? You have to watch the cat episode.
Mm-hmm.
You have to send that to you. But yeah, cool. Tune in. We're not sure which day yet. Still, do we have any sense of what day that might be, Stuart? Saturday or Sunday? 13th or 14th?
Honestly, don't know yet.
It's more based on your schedule than it is on mine.
Honestly, don't know yet. I'll have to look closer too.
We'll tell you, but we know.
Jarzia, $5.
Oh.
With today's serialized shows, Lau would probably have had her story told over a season or two alongside other plots. Her life was like 20 minutes of TV. Well, see, they did a serialized thing with Data's daughter, and it was kind of... I don't know how to say it. Too. Yeah. They ramped it up for the remake. Anyway, Olivia Julius gets the last super chat slot with $1.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't think I would have enjoyed a 2-season LOL storyline, because that would just be Data light. You know, you can't really have both. And if you make LOL so advanced, then that devalues Data. So I like the idea of her I don't like it, but it adds the whatever. You just should have had some other mentions of it later in the season, like you said, with when he adopts that kid, basically. Yeah, but it's okay. That's okay.
And Jarzia throws in $1. So Jarzia's got the last super chat slot.
Oh. Oh.
Whaaaaa, says Jeff. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So it's up to you when you decide who's going to win, because you get to end the stream.
It's true. Or I can
Olivia,
never end.
$1.
You're getting them much before me, Stuart.
Admiral Halftel, $1.
Really? These are really delayed on my end.
Yeah, Jill is at the last super chat slot right now with $1. So
it's a fight.
Olivia, $1. There we go. Can I have $2? Is there $2 out there? I'm not good. I'm not a good auctioneer. Jars, you got $2 super chats at dawn.
I'll tell you what, Stuart. I will click the stop button in 60 seconds.
Okay.
And I'm going to put a 60-second clock on the thing, and everyone can watch 60 seconds delayed.
Olivia Julius, $1.
Hold on.
Look out, Tower Radio, £1. It's on again. Some days you guys just love this last super chat duel.
Okay.
Other days you want nothing to do with it.
There's now a clock over your face, Stuart. And so in 47 seconds, the live will finish. So whoever wins at that point wins. I mean, we have no control. It's now up to you guys.
Olivia Julius, $1.
I mean, and 38 seconds. I'm sorry, Stuart.
Jarzia, $1.
Let's see if I can get you in frame. Probably not really.
You just put the timer over the big thumbnail, but whatever.
22 seconds. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Jarzia is the winner so far.
It's only 12 seconds. Only 11 seconds. I will push that button, Stuart.
Oh, Olivia, $1.
9 seconds. 8, 7, 7. Hey guys, you guys are amazing. This is brilliant. Goodbye, everyone. See you next time. 3. Bye, Stuart.
Bye.